The Radio Memories Network is brought to you in part by Liberated Syndication, podcast publishing made easy, libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com. The Radio Memories Network welcomes you to the earliest days of radio. All this is still ours today through the Radio Memories Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the radio audience.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again to Radio Journeys. I'm John Grimmett, your weekly guide into the earliest days of radio. Now, on this show, I sometimes take a lot of risks. I try to play some recordings that you probably won't hear on any other old-time radio show. And there's a reason for this. I'm trying to recreate or restore old-time radio in chronological order, even if it means playing some programs that are very difficult to listen to indeed. And why do I choose these shows? Well, quite simply because they're about the only files that we have surviving from that period of old-time radio. Tonight is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. What I'm going to show you is a little example of audio-archeology, digging up old files through collecting, finding out their sources, their dates, and their correct order of play, and then trying to piece them together in the same way that we would piece together, say, an old Grecian urn or a Grecian vase, or an old Egyptian coffin, hoping that we can piece it all together and somehow reach a whole, even though we very often don't. Another problem in audio-archeology is, of course, corroborating the dates. A lot of different sources have a lot of different proposed dates for some of these early programs and early recordings, and tonight is certainly a good example of this. What I'm going to play for you tonight is something very different from what I've done in the past. 5 excerpts or fragments of a program from 1931 called Smackout. After some very confusing research on the subject, I've arrived at sort of a proposed order for these fragments. Smackout first aired over WMAQ in Chicago. It was hosted and played entirely by Jim and Marion Jordan, a husband and wife team who had started out in 1930 with WMAQ radio and were given their own nightly comedy serial called Smackout in March of 1931. Now, all of the characters and ideas that appeared in Smackout later would go into Fibber McGee and Molly, the more famous show that Jim and Marion Jordan did beginning in 1935. The show Smackout was actually created by Don Quinn, a newspaper cartoonist who knew Jim and Marion Jordan and began working with them on the idea for such a show. And when I said that the characters in the show later would go into Fibber McGee and Molly, well, here's how it happened. There were actually 4 characters featured on the show. All 4 were played by Jim and Marion. Nobody else ever had a role in the show. The 4 characters were Jim and Marion themselves, who were simply called Jim and Marion, Uncle Lou, an old man who ran a store, a general store, in a small town somewhere in the Midwest. The reason the show was called Smackout was that every episode, customers would come into the store hoping to buy something, and whatever they wanted to buy, it turned out that Uncle Luke was always smack out of it. Now, the 4th character was the little girl that showed up in Fibber McGee and Molly in every single episode. Her name was Teeny, and she was played by Marion Jordan. Marion Jordan simply carried Teeny over into Fibber McGee and Molly and continued with the character. Uncle Luke later became the old-timer, was played by another actor rather than Jim Jordan, but became a regular feature on Fibber McGee and Molly. Smackout was carried 5 days a week over WMAQ radio during 1931 and 1932, and then in 1933, the show went to network radio, in April to be exact, and continued until 1935, when Jim and Marion Jordan, along with Don Quinn, decided to reconfigure the show and turn it into what later would become Fibber McGee and Molly. And now that you've got some background on the show and its history, here's a little historical information about the recordings that I'm going to play tonight. Now, the show was a serial that ran 5 nights a week, as I said, but there are only 5 excerpts, very brief excerpts, running 3 to 4 minutes, that survive of the program. All 5 of these excerpts turned up on 3 78 RPM discs that were in the collection of Jim Jordan himself. Jim Jordan died, by the way, in 1988. Well, these 5 segments entered general collector's circulation sometime in the early 1990s. They've been circulated in a particular order, actually just about the reverse of the order that I'm going to play for you tonight. After reading up on these files, the programs, and the different segments, I've come to the conclusion that the order that they're being circulated in was probably not the actual order they were originally aired in. So I've switched around the order a little bit to try to give a better sense of the actual chronological air dates of these shows. The first 2 segments that we're going to play tonight are from March 23 of 1931. These 2 excerpts both include an example of Uncle Luke's tall tales. Now, as you know, Fibber McGee, those of you who know Fibber McGee and Molly, Fibber also was called Fibber because of his tall tales. Very funny exaggerations of all the various things he had done, the places he had traveled, the people he had met. So here's a tall tale about a rather, violent baseball game that Uncle Luke says he had been involved in, pitching for, in fact. He starts telling this story in order to try to placate Teeny, the little girl, who wants to buy a baseball from Uncle Luke. But because he's smack out of baseballs, he decides to try to keep her happy by telling her this story. Now, we're also going to hear in this excerpt before that story, Jim and Marion Jordan singing at the piano with The King's Horses and the King's Men. It's kind of interesting also, and we'll never really know whether this is a coincidence or a deliberate choice on the part of Jim and Marion Jordan, but they later had a singing group in Fibber McGee and Molly called The King's Men. And whether that title originated from this particular performance or not will never really be known. But it's an interesting side point. Now, after these 2 excerpts, I'll have 3 more excerpts for you, and what I'm going to do is play these 2 with the King's Horses and then the baseball tall tale, and then before the 3rd episode, or the 3rd excerpt, I'll give a little more background information on the recording. So let's start now by listening to this broadcast, most likely from March 23 of 1931, 2 excerpts, or fragments, from Smackout, recorded off-air from WMAQ, Chicago.
What with baseballs anyhow? Girls play with dolls and jacks and things like that.
Well, the boys said I could be first baseman on their baseball team if I'd furnish the ball, so Ma gave me the money to buy one.
Baseball, eh? You reckon you could hold it once they tossed it to you?
Oh, I'm a good ball player, Uncle Luke.
You are, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's sure springtime, all right, when they get out the bats and balls. George, if I ain't mistaken, the springtime sort of snuck up on me. I'll see if I can find any baseballs. Baseballs. Here's moss balls. Codfish balls. Don't seem to have no baseballs, though. Let's see. Tapioca. You reckon that'd do, Timmy?
No, it's got to be a baseball.
Let's see. There's ice cream freezer. I'd let that go at a bargain, Teeny.
No, I want a baseball, Uncle Luke.
That's the tin. Cowbell. That just cuts in two. I reckon I'm smack out of baseball, Teeny.
Oh, I just knew you'd be. So now I won't be able to play on the team.
Oh, there now, Teeny. Don't carry on now.
I want a baseball.
Now, here now. You sit up here. I'll tell you a story.
I want a baseball. I don't want no story.
Sit still now, and I'll tell you a nice story. I ever tell you about the time when I used to play baseball?
Oh, were you a ball player, Uncle Luke?
Why, them scouts used to come down here every year, wanting me to join up with the big leaguers. But I never do it. I argued it wasn't fair to the local team.
Tell me about it, will you?
Well, now, come think about it, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's ask Marion and Jim to sing us a song whilst I get my facts straight, and then I'll tell you the story.
All right. Will you sing a song, Marion and Jim?
What would you like to hear, Teeny?
I like that one about the horses. I like that one.
Oh, yes. The King's Horses, eh?
Yeah.
Well, sing us that one, Marion and Jim, and I'll help you out a little bit. Along the street, you hear the tramp of motor street, and there's no song that has the street in all the world. You might think so, but oh dear no. They're out because they got to go. Suppose a little something to the Lord will show. But they're doing now and then. The march down 3 times, the march back again. The king's horses and the king's men. The king's horses and the king's men. They're all arrayed on parade once again. The king's horses and the king's men. The king's horses, the king's men, 3 meals.
Don't you tell a story now?
Oh, yes. Well, Teeny, this is a story about baseball in the days when it was a man's game. Not something for little girls like you to play.
Oh, did you have fights?
Fights? Sure, we had fights every inning. Well, the game I'm talking about was the deciding game for the county pennant. I was pitching.
Were you a good pitcher, Uncle?
Oh, sure. When I threw that ball, I never did see it. In fact, nobody saw it up till the 9th inning. The score was 18-20 in our favor.
So you won, huh?
I'm coming to that. Well, sir, the visitors came up to bat in the 9th inning, and the first man up popped a little fly to Ed Tansucker. He was playing short, awful short.
I'm a good shortstop, too, Uncle.
Now, you keep still, or I won't finish my story, Teeny.
All right, I'll be quiet.
And as I said, the first man up, he knocked a little pop fly to Ed Tansucker. But what did Ed do but drop the ball? Yes, sir. Muffed it. Look at the whistle. Well, by the time he touched up and picked batter, the batter had got all the way to second base. Now, sir, the next man up got 3 balls and 2 strikes, and then what happened but the umpire gave a bad decision and walked him. Yes, sir. I could have done plenty about that, but I didn't say a word. I just kept my tongue still. Well, that gave the man on the first, third.
And nobody was out, huh?
Nobody was out. Well, I'd pitched a long game, and I don't know just what happened, but just as I was about to pitch to the next feller, why, Pete Pennywhacker yelled something to me. Well, I figured that the man on first was stealing, and I sort of jerked back. But I'd already started to pitch, so rather than be called for a balk, I let her go. And, of course, the batter hit it. Well, sir, he knocked a home run. Clear over the Swords' cornfield, he knocked it.
Oh, and so you lost the game, did you?
Now, I didn't say anything about losing. As I said, this was in the days when baseball was a he-man's game.
Well, and what did you do, Uncle Lou?
Well, sir, I had to act fast. All I did was to yank my pistol out of my belt. We all carried pistols in them days. And I shot the runner on third base.
Oh, you shot him?
Yeah. Now, the rule says the runner on base can't pass another runner ahead of him, so the man I shot dropped in his tracks, and, of course, the other 2 couldn't pass him, so that ended the game, and we won 18-20.
Gee, that certainly must have been an exciting game, Uncle.
Well, that ain't nothing compared to the time when we was playing. But what's that, Marion?
I say it's almost supper time, Uncle Luke.
Oh, so it is. Well, you sing us one more song, and we'll all go in supper. Oh, how I miss you. Oh, how I need you. Please just like pillow. Tell my troubles to my pillow. My heart is aching. Keep it from breaking. If you'll never make the same mistake. Oh, how I miss you.
You just heard 2 excerpts of Smackout, recorded off-air from WMAQ Chicago. Now, if you're wondering where I've decided to get these dates from, or how I've decided on these dates and the ordering of these excerpts, I'm basing most of my conclusions on the Radio Gold Index at radiogoldindex.com, run by J. David Golden. Now, Mr. Golden was one of the original salvagers of old-time radio back in the late 60s and 70s, one of those fellows who went around legendarily looking for old-time radios in dustbins and dumpsters of radio stations, and in some cases even at garage and yard sales. And although his index may not always be accurate, it does provide us with some very good background on the history of these shows. He often gives some very detailed, although once again sometimes inaccurate information on everything from the dates to the cast to the origins of the recordings themselves. Now, other sources for information on these excerpts include Elizabeth McLeod's Documenting Early Radio page, where she also has a full paragraph giving a general summary of the contents of these excerpts. They're important because, of course, they're some of the earliest air checks ever recorded as well. That's why Elizabeth McLeod is interested in them. Now, the next segment that we hear has the most mysterious date of all of the excerpts. Some of the documentation that I've found on these excerpts says that there was an excerpt recorded on March 3 of 1931. J. David Golden dates this particular excerpt that you're about to hear as coming from March 31, 1931. Elizabeth McLeod states pretty clearly and firmly that they probably were recorded sometime in June of 1931. Because we're not sure whether they were recorded at the end of March or sometime in June of 1931, I'm putting this excerpt in the middle. This particular excerpt is also very important for another reason. Although you're only going to hear the excerpt that comes from Smackout, also included on this particular record are some other programming items from WMAQ in Chicago. This includes a spot announcement for the California Fur Company, a very brief local news item, a DJ playing some records by Phil Napoleon and the Adventurers Quartet. David Golden states that these recordings, all of these recordings, were made by the Royal Recording and Film Studio in Chicago, recorded off-air. So because of these local news items or local ads that were also included in this record, this particular excerpt is of great significance to broadcast historians. What we're going to hear is actually Jim Jordan singing That Little Boy of Mine, played on the piano. It's quite a delightful little song, actually. And this was the beginning of that record, which then also included the very brief excerpts from WMAQ programming. The recording was probably made as some sort of a test, perhaps for WMAQ, to gauge how well it was being received by the community. So here is segment or fragment number 3 of Smackout, recorded off-air in either March or June of 1931.
I don't care if sometimes she's bad and does things that make me feel sad. I'll always forgive the little tad. that little boy of mine. And what do I care if the neighbors complain just because he broke a window pane? I can forgive him again and again, 'cause he's that little boy of mine. And when those great big eyes of blue turn up and blink and wink at you, it's just like heaven shining through. Why, there's nothing on earth I wouldn't do for that little boy of mine. He's all the world to me. He climbs up on my knee. To me he'll always be that little boy of mine.
And now for the last two segments in our series of excerpts or fragments from Smackout. In the first of these last two segments, we're going to hear Jim and Mary and Jordan singing The Little Old Church on harmonium. Now, supposedly, a regular feature of Smackout was the harmonium. Uncle Luke apparently had a harmonium in his store, and when Jim and Marion went over to visit him, he would inevitably request a harmonium tune, and tonight it is The Little Old Church. And then Jim and Marion, at some point in this broadcast, move over to the piano and do a rendition of The Peanut Vendor. And then Uncle Luke tells some sort of a tall tale about reselling old soda pop bottles for use as candlesticks. This, of course, could be some sort of a commentary or reference to the resourcefulness that a lot of people were having to discover to endure the early Depression. So here we are with the last two fragments of Smackout, most probably recorded on June 11 of 1931 from WMAQ. I'll be back with a few more notes about these excerpts in just a few minutes.
Give King here any wrong information about Africa. How about it?
Well, what would you like, Uncle Luke?
Say, I'll tell you what I'd like. I'd like to hear you play something on the old melodeon. That's when I can think good when the melodeon is going.
All right.
You got something you can play on that?
I think we have.
There you go.
here to get the pumpkins, are you?
Well, that sounded right nice.
Well, are you ready to go ahead now? You got your plot all worked out?
Oh, now, Dad's right. It ain't no plot at all to this here story. Why, shucks. You folks would have a buddy think I was just making this up.
Oh, no, we don't, Uncle Luke.
Well, all right then. All right.
Wakes up with this serenade.
Are they nice and hot?
Little house where the shadows start to creep. Buy a bag of peanuts now before you sleep.
Why, I wouldn't sleep a bit.
No Tommy ain't.
How this then? When I wake.
Oh, lady, do not close your door. You really could not ask for more.
What is that old whistle blow?
For peanuts you will long for later on. Till later peanut vendors will be gone. And then I'm sure you will restore.
Are they big jumbos?
Big double one.
Oh, I don't know.
Peanut roasted today. Freshly roasted today. And if you're looking for a moral to my song, 50 million little monkeys can't be wrong. Peanut.
I'll take some.
Thank you.
You leave again.
I go.
I leave again. My peanut man. That peanut man. Go.
Oh, boy. Elephants and peanuts. Boy, I'll dream about those elephants tonight. I think I'll lay off the coffee for a while, Luke, and the root beer.
Oh, Uncle Luke's got a mouthful out of root beer bottles, haven't you, Uncle Luke? He's painting his root beer bottles.
Now, Teeny,
What's this? What are you painting root beer bottles for, Uncle Luke?
I hope you're not going to deceive the public, Luke, by painting them with ginger ale.
Oh, no. He's painting them red and green and pink. Oh, they're awful pretty, too.
Well, what's it all about, Luke?
well, I'll tell you how it is. You remember them pop bottles I sold for candlesticks the other day when you was in here?
Oh, I remember that, don't you, Jim?
Sure.
Well, sir, that lady that bought them was in here again today, and she showed me them there candlesticks, and, George, they're right nice.
Really?
Well, sir, that there gave me the idea I could sell all them bottles for the same thing. I got dozens of them back there. Going to paint them all up and have a extra special clearance closing out bargain sale of candlesticks. See, sir?
Well, let's see one you have painted.
No, sir. No, sir. Not till they're all done and ready for the sale. Say in about 10 days or so. I got a lot of them to paint, and then I got to let them dry for a bit. My dad ratted, I bet them candlesticks will just sell like hotcakes, that's what.
Well, I hope they do.
Well, so do I. Let us know when the sale goes on, will you, Uncle Luke?
I won't have to, Mary. I won't have to let you know. You'll probably be hearing about it from everybody. Probably get into the papers, too.
Uncle Luke,
Yeah?
can I ask you a question about those elephants?
What's that?
Can I ask you a question about those elephants you told us about?
Oh, those elephants. Why, sure you can, Teeny. Fact is, I was wondering what you was thinking so deep about. What is it you want to know?
Well, Uncle Luke,
Yes?
when you sawed the tusks off those elephants, I mean the bulls, the first time, that let them loose from the ground, didn't it? Who held them then, Uncle Luke?
Him? Who? Why, shucks, Teeny. I guess we better talk some more about them bottles. I'll tell you about that later, Teeny. Now, what I'm going to do with these here bottles, the sale, is this. I'm going to, after I get them painted, I'm going to take them there elephant, them there pop bottles, and put them all up on the shelf in the big row.
Two fragments from Smackout, most probably recorded in June of 1931, June 11 of 1931 to be exact. Now, these recordings are some of my very favorites that I have in my whole collection of old-time radio. One of the reasons that I prize them so much is that they seem to represent for me radio as it would have sounded in living rooms in 1931. Quite representative sound, especially since obviously it was recorded directly off of a premium radio receiver of the day. Now, there's also something else going on in the background on these recordings, and I have been struggling, actually, with my ears to try to figure out what it is. I've amplified it, tried to squelch out the main audio to try to dig it out from the background there. It sounds like it could be another radio station playing underneath, or it sounds like it could very well be some sort of a harmonic effect which resulted from bad tape transfers. Often, when you use magnetized tape over time, sometimes you can even hear the reverse side of the tape kind of leaking through and into the audio. I've tried reversing the audio using some digital editing techniques, and that hasn't helped. If anyone out there has any ideas about what that sound could be underneath, that supposed faint audio that you hear, especially on the first two excerpts that we heard tonight, please let me know. I would greatly like to know if there's some other recording that's hidden under there. Or could it just be some harmonic effects coming and bleeding through from some other audio source? But the harmonies are beautiful. The historic importance of these recordings for broadcasters and for collectors is undisputed. And it demonstrates for us exactly what it's like to try to piece together these fragments from various sources, corroborating dates, and trying to recreate radio in its chronological order with the very little that we have left. But June 11, 1931. Now, on that same night that these programs, or that Smackout was being aired in Chicago over WMAQ, over in New York on June 11 of 1931, another groundbreaking show was being broadcast. And tonight we're going to hear the full 30-minute episode of The Witch's Tale. Now, The Witch's Tale first broadcast in late May of 1931, so this June 11, 1931 episode that we're about to hear was only the second episode ever created for the series. The Witch's Tale continued right on up to 1945. It was created by scriptwriter Alonzo Dean Cole, a very young man at the time in 1931, who had written only one other comedy serial for WOR Radio. Now, WOR was the first station in the Mutual network. It was owned by L. Bamberger and Company, but because Mutual didn't have as much money as NBC or CBS, many of its programs were distributed through syndication, but to be broadcast at a specific hour on all of its affiliate stations. The Witch's Tale was a good example of this. It was recorded in studio and then sent by syndication to its member stations. The Witch's Tale was quite pioneering and groundbreaking in many ways. It was the first show to feature a very eerie, ghostly host, a tradition that would continue through at least a half dozen of the best-known old-time radios distributed today, including shows such as The Whistler, Lights Out, Suspense, and many others. The Witch's Tale played very late at night, at 10:30 or 11:30 p.m., and it also became custom in old-time radio through the 1930s and 40s for many of these horror and mystery shows to come on late at night like that. And so it's with great pleasure tonight that I also present for you, from June 11, 1931, The Witch's Tale. Now, here's a little note of caution about the audio on this show. It really is extremely poor. The show is, as one of my radio collecting friends says sometimes, rough going. But despite that poor audio, I've opted to play it for you tonight. Get as much out of it as you can. I've tried to modify the sound as much as I could. I actually put it into some digital editing processes and decided in the end that the best choice would be to simply leave the file pretty much as it was when I received it. I did apply a little bit of equalization to it to try to heighten the treble and lower the bass. I hope that helps to bring it a little bit up out of the murk that it is in. Now, the audio at the beginning of the show is much worse than toward the end, so if you'll be patient and continue listening, you will find a significant improvement in the audio quality, but it nevertheless doesn't get that much better. So with that in mind, let's begin this journey into audio archaeology by presenting the second episode of The Witch's Tale, recorded and broadcast on June 11, 1931.
We bring you The Witch's Tale, written and produced by Alonzo Dean Cole. let us join old Nancy and Satan, her wise black cat.
Satan, suppose you tell these folks the big news we got for them tonight. What news? Why, about this being my birthday. That's right, Satan. 120-year-old I be today. Yes, 120-year-old. And now if you folks will douse out them lights and make it nice and dark, we'll get right down to business. Draw up to the fire and gaze into the embers. Gaze into them deep, and soon you'll see a forest across the sea in France. There begins our yarn about the werewolf. Hear his howl, half man, half beast. It's the werewolf. The werewolf.
Scream for a moment till it up here. And the big red wolf is at her throat. The werewolf. You're done, Bob. You're done. Holy Mother, guide my aim. You hit it.
He cried out like a man.
He's running away. Finish it. I attend, madame. I go. Your body goes out, set it up, and I quit.
Just a minute.
Let's begin the country cut. If he's upon a pressure, don't bite it, hot as that. I'll hold it down for me. It's dark. That's it.
There's the darkness of the moon when the red wolf leaves the top. The darkness of the moon when man turns into beast.
Stop that stupid nonsense. Oh, why did you let her out of the house and run in this forest?
She thought she heard Monsieur Lecomte, her husband, call outside.
He knew this terrible killing in the way. He knew that she imagined she's in a good
She was out of bed and gone before I dreamed of her intention. It's nearly Dr. Dion. The child feels to death.
We can only hope. No bandages. I was not the Monsieur Lecomte at home to help me watch her. I warned him that he's placed me in her.
He's always gone away at this time. He's once on business.
This month, that business may cost him wife and heir.
Oh, still Madame Lecomte is in there.
The body will recover. And think never mind. She isn't your pleasant tales about that big red wolf until she herself believes that it is more than truth. And then to come upon it, to see it leave upon her, to shock and hurt and give her away.
He's the man bewitched, who leaves the path of each darkness of the moon. He's beautiful as heart tonight. You've heard it cry out like a human soul. But Radab has left a bullet and has left a trail of blood. He will find it dead and brings back its wicked carcass.
The red wolf is an animal and nothing more. No man alive was ever transformed into beast. You believe a werewolf when dead or dying will assume his natural human form. If the bar brings back the carcass, you may perhaps believe the truth. What's that?
The blood is coming down.
He killed the creature. He bears its blood in his arm.
And it's the body of a man.
Yes, a man. The blood trail ended at his side. Oh, I won't believe it. Oh, who is this dead man?
Hold your lantern.
Look, I have already seen.
Oh,
Charles. Yes, the husband of Madame. Now we know why he was always absent when the red wolf led the pack.
the darkness of the moon.
Those wolves, they have lost their leader. The human beast is dead.
Madame.
Please return consciousness. Don't let us see that body.
I have already seen it. The great red wolf is dead, but he shall live again.
Our mind is gone, I fear.
The werewolf shall live again. The werewolf shall live again.
And that is the true account of what occurred that night, my boy, just 14 years ago. You were born the following morning. I'm telling you the unhappy story tonight because through the present, so many exaggerated tales have reached your ears.
Thank you, Mr. Doctor. I wanted to know the truth. I see now why my mother hates me so. Why she would kill me if she were free instead of chained inside that room down there. I am the son of... Oh. She cries that night and day.
She's a hopeless maniac, really. His husband should give birth. She's not responsible for what she says and does.
My mother hates me.
Oh, there, my boy. That's the best thing. I'm with you now.
Oh, please, don't go yet, Mr. Doctor. Those wolves outside.
They're far off in the forest. You know they cannot harm you
But
here.
I'm afraid of them. I've always been afraid. Please, stay and talk with me some more.
Not very well. What shall we talk about?
About my father.
You've been dreaming of him again?
Every night. His hair is red like mine. He looks just like his portrait there.
Perhaps that portrait had better be removed.
Oh, no, please. I like to have it in my room. I like to dream of my father. He was a good man, the Shirley doctor. If he was what the peasants say, it wasn't his fault. He was a curse.
1,000 times I've told you, the peasant's tale is a lie. No man alive was ever transformed into a demon.
But they found my father dead.
Some enemy had shot him.
A trail of blood led to his side.
It was dark, a night like this. The barb had but a feeble lantern and imagination.
Then why was the great red wolf never seen again?
It was wounded. By the law of attack, its own followers devoured its carcass. That's the practical explanation of the whole mad story. Now go to bed and sleep.
Oh, please. Don't go. Those wolves.
Rene, you must conquer this foolishness before it conquers you.
I'm not just afraid of the wolves tonight. It's something more, Miss Shirley, doctor. For 3 months now, when the moon is gone, I felt strange. Feel it more this time. Please don't go, Lisa.
Rene, you're overly imaginative because you're at the age of change right now. In the past 2 months, you've been growing as a man from size. What's the matter with you? And you'll soon get over it. Now, go to bed. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, my boy.
My mother. Whoa. They're calling me out there in the darkness of the moon. I won't listen. I won't join you. Oh, Father, in my dreams you said I couldn't help myself any more than you could. Father, you told me the secret passage from this room that you used to join the path. Oh, no, don't call me. I won't come. No, you speak of blood. Yes, how sweet the taste of blood must be. What joy you tell me of. To lead the pack, to rend and tear with teeth and claw. Oh, no. Call no more. I won't listen. I won't come. I won't. I come to you, my brother. I come.
But, my dear Monsieur de Vanity, you're a man of education. You cannot believe the superstitions of ignorant peasants.
I believe no more than you, Monsieur le Docteur. But the fact remains that 8 years ago, Rene began to absent himself from his usual haunts 4 to 7 days each month. If a young man is transformed into a wolf during these periods, it's impossible, of course.
Preposterous.
But you are here to request for him my daughter's hand in marriage. You ask me to entrust her happiness to one who is eccentric, to say the least.
My dear friend, how often must I explain the reason for his periodic absence?
You mean he goes away because of his mother?
Exactly. His presence in the house excites her mania. So when he was a mere lad of 14, he concluded that by removing himself for a time each month, he might effect her cure. Now, the first time he disappeared, I was mighty concerned about him, I can tell you. Till he returned and told me why he had gone away.
He always goes alone on these little trips of his.
But he's told us where he goes often enough. He's seen our beloved France. Now come, monsieur, let's beat about the bush no more and sign the marriage contract. How can you hesitate? Rene asks nothing but your daughter. Not a single sou of dowry.
And though a huge red wolf is seen when Rene's away, a wolf whose coat is the same color as his hair, that is but coincidence.
Of course it is. Let me tell the boy that you can say.
It shall be left to my daughter. I abide by her decision.
Then the marriage is as good as made. He and Rene are outside in the garden. Let's call them. Rene!
Mr. Deal. Good news, my boy. Good news. You mean to feel that Father took his case?
Oh, monsieur, I thank you.
My daughter shall decide later. Come, friend dear, we shall leave him to ask the question.
The marriage is as good as marriage. I see the answer in her eyes.
Really? Is that what Dr. Dion has been talking of, Professor?
Yes. Our marriage, Sophia. I've loved you ever since we were children. I couldn't speak until your father gave consent. Now, will you have me for your husband?
I love you, William.
And I love you. Oh, I love you. I love you so.
Oh, William, you're weeping when I say I can love you.
You must not marry me. Oh, how could I be so selfish to ask you? I swore I never would, then I couldn't help myself. But you must not be my wife. You must not. I am a curse.
Darling. A moment ago you were laughing. Oh, I know what troubles you. The foolish things the peasants say about you and your father. But even if they could be true,
Thank you, Theo. If the peasant tales are true, if you married one who turned the wolf at each darkness of the moon, he would live in deadly danger. For with his outer skin, his inward nature would change too.
You're talking madness.
Yes. Yes, madness. The werewolf has been a myth. Everyone knows that except the stupid peasant. Oh, I love you. I must have you for my wife. Dr. Dion, the kid of Arnito. The seal consent. Bring in the marriage contract. Phil, I swear you will be safe. I swear you will be safe.
Come see Satan and me next time I has a birthday, and we tell you about the marriage of a werewolf.
Bring you the Witch's Tale, written and produced by Alonzo Dean Cole. And now let us join old Nancy and Satan, her wise black cat.
$113-year-old I be today. Yes, sir, 113-year-old. We'll shake him. Last time these folks was here, we started to tell them about that young fella named Rene, who turned into an animal at each darkness of the moon. Well, sir, this Rene in his normal state is really a fine young man. So when he fell in love with a girl named Cecile, he thought of doing his best to marry her, for he knew that when he turns from man to beast, he becomes a killer. But he loved her too much and did marry her, hoping she'll never discover his awful secret and that it can keep us safe. And that's why we left off. Now dash out them lights so we'll have it nice and dark. Draw up to the fire and gaze into the embers. Gaze into them deep, and soon you'll be back with us in France. Soon you'll hear the finish of our yarn about the werewolf. The werewolf.
Have I made you happy, Cecilia?
Serena, the 5 months since we were married has passed like a beautiful dream. And to think, until we actually knelt at the altar, you were still undecided that you'd let me be your wife.
But I've kept you safe, my dear. I've kept you safe.
Why are you always saying that?
Why? Husband is naturally concerned about the safety of his wife.
But husbands don't usually require their wives to keep a loaded gun beside their bed as you do.
Why?
And everywhere in the chateau you've placed weapons ready for my hand.
They've all been blessed by the good. They would not fail us.
If a wolf should attack me while you're away on one of these monthly trips of yours. Then you're feeling dread of wolves is natural. It was born in you. But wild animals don't enter houses.
Oh, no, of course not, but... Darling, you will use the nearest weapon if one should. You promise.
Yes. But why do you...
Because I love you more than life. Because I love you, that's all.
If I could only understand.
Don't try. Just trust me.
A wolf is howling in the forest now. They're all far away yet. They've never come any closer to the chateau.
Yes.
But listen to him. He must be calling to another of his kind.
Yes. Calling to another of his kind. I must be going.
Why don't you always go away the night when the old moon wanes?
I've explained all that to you, darling. This is the time my mother's madness is at its worst. Dr. Guillaume tells me that now when I'm away, she's so quiet that you can even unlock her chains and let her walk about the house. You see how important it is I'll go away each month like this. That's sometimes her mind will clear. Then perhaps she won't hate me anymore.
No. But then she'll know how good you really are.
I could only hear her say, my son. Just
I'll close the door so you won't hear her.
Oh, no, don't bother. I'm accustomed to that constant cry of hers. I've heard it ever since she gave me birth.
Listen to that wolf out there. Honey, it's closer than before.
Listen to my Madison brother. It's late. I must be going.
Raymond, why won't you take me with you when you go away?
Dearest, I told you why.
But your explanations seem so foolish when I turn them over in my mind. I'm your wife. You say you love me. Why don't you want me with you every minute?
I do want you, but, darling, please don't question. I'm slow now. It's growing late.
Wait. I can't help questioning. I feel as though I lived in Bluebeard's castle, where a door forever faces me unless I enter. You asked me if I was perfect. No, I'm not. I never shall be until I know the truth about these monthly trips of yours.
Phil, I beg, don't question me now.
Yes, now. Why won't you take me with you when you go away? Where do you go when you leave this house and why?
Phil.
And I've got to know. You've got to tell me.
I can't tell you.
Then I'll find out.
No. Don't spy upon me. Don't try to find me when I go away. It would mean death. You hear me, it would mean death. River, if I love you, I couldn't keep you safe.
Really? Why?
Promise you won't fire upon me. Swear it, Cecilia. I beg you on my knees. Well, it's late. I have to go.
No one would plead like that except the one who feared discovery of some awful secret.
Cecile.
No, I won't promise.
I beg, I pray you. Take what you like, but don't attempt to spy upon me.
No. Now I know you'd like me.
Yes.
But there's something to find out, and I shall find it out.
No.
Yes.
Oh, my God, have pity. I must leave you so.
Wait. Come back.
I'm late. I've got to go.
You didn't kiss me. You didn't even say goodbye. Oh, Anna. I didn't really mean it. I didn't really think.
It might be a very good thing you did, Madame. Madame was not think I was listening to people. You ladies made some Paris are too well bred for that. As a matter of fact, the door was wide open. But there's practice then on Mrs. Clarkson.
Why did you close that door?
Because Reason is private now. Madame wishes to learn about her husband's monthly absences. I may be of some assistance to her.
What do you mean?
But I know where he's gone each time that he has left you since your very recent marriage.
Well,
The information will be worth something, Madame?
anything you ask. Tell me if you really know.
I do know. Monsieur Lepont is very clever. Your provincial peasants have a superstitious notion that he becomes a wolf in the darkness of the moon. You who do not believe such silly stories are given another reason accounting for his absences. The truth is that in this house each month he entertains another woman.
You lie.
I know. The last time you thought he went away, I learned his secret. I waited until he went away again tonight before I spoke, so that I could offer proof. Proof, yes. My husband leaves this house for the railway station, so he says. But he circles back here and re-enters the chateau by a secret passage from outside.
A secret passage?
Leading to that room where his father's portrait hangs.
Really? Lock this time away?
Yes. But I have found a key to fix it.
You saw it enter through a secret passage?
As plainly as I see you now.
And you saw a wolf.
Not exactly. The night was very dark. But some minutes after he'd entered, I heard a rustling in the bushes at the passageway and could make out a courser's creeping form. And the wolves were howling in the forest, and I was frightened all alone and came away.
It must have been a wolf.
Who else? When there's a man.
Come to that room.
Wait. He will not be there for some minutes yet. And when he was seen to enter, a good friend of mine outside will block the passageway so he cannot leave again.
He was pressing in that room. I told him I'd find out. I told him. I stopped him, Tom, when he told him about the past. You heard my friend say that the real affair had entered from outside, and that the passageway was blocked behind him.
My lady.
Your eyes will soon convince us. Then do not forget, madame, you have promised me 10,000 francs.
Oh, you still haven't. I should not.
What's that? Somebody got to hear from your bag. You used to be a customer's wallet in the train. Another customer. Fancy his customer. What the lady is giving me? Only me and the woman who prefers you. No, I like me. It was scared that I went away for that mad woman's sake. And all the time, Madame will be again. No, I couldn't do it from the woman. I only wish to let him know I found him out and never see his hatred dead. And I left him. Tell me, please. The doors are locked. Open it suddenly and fasten the door. Here it is. Bertha! The room is empty. Granny is not here.
The secret door is open. You must be in that passageway.
What's that?
A wolf out in the forest, but the sound came from that passage. It is not a wolf, then, for we know your husband's here. Come.
It's dark in that passage.
I'll lead the way if you're afraid.
But Bertha, I see two strange lights shining in that blackness.
Yes, like the eyes of a cat.
Oh, Lord.
But go no further. Wait. The lights are coming toward us. Come
Back into the room. Yeah, don't let me at me. Oh, a great red wolf. Wow, it's a nice one. Look at here. It's getting better.
I'm coming.
It's bleeding half a me. I'm in a corner. I can't get away.
I'll get the field.
It's crouching for its
I
lead.
have no weapon to field. There's a knife on the table. Move it, Richard, quick.
Have it.
The beast screams, aim his throat now. The point right through its body, all very sharp.
I killed it. It's riding on the floor. It's dying. The werewolf is dying. The werewolf is dying.
Papa, don't let that mad woman come in here. Look away from him, Richard. What is that in here? Wolf, that wolf. Murder. It's dead.
The wolf killed it, but I stabbed it. I stabbed it with his knife. I only placed here for my detective. He placed weapons everywhere because he feared a wolf would try to harm him. I thought he was crazy, but he wasn't.
Terrible. Get hold of your throat. Your case is over now.
Yes, it's over. The wolf is dead.
Look at him. Look at that wolf. Who's gone? Changing into a man before our eyes. The peasant's tales were true. He was
A werewolf. A werewolf. No matter what he is, I love him. And I killed him with a knife. He left here to protect me from himself.
I swore I'd keep you safe.
No, stop. I love you.
You always could have.
can't hear you now, Kitty. The werewolf is dead.
He is no longer there.
Stop him. The night contact. He takes his body in her arms.
He is no longer there. His curse is finished. He is my son. He is my Well, that's the end of that, unsakers. Come see us next time I has a birthday.
That's The Witch's Tale from June 11, 1931. But next week, we're going to dig up another groundbreaking radio show from the Mutual Network. Join us for that. It's something you won't want to miss. Well, as Jack Benny used to have to say often, we're running late, folks. That's all for now. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
More footnotes next week, and so in friendly fashion, good luck